What's up, Boulder, Colorado?
No, I'm not a candy guy. If I had to rank my number one candy, it would be now laters. You, some of you might have to ask what that is. All the black folks, can you tell the white folks what it is?
Today we've got something different for you, so let's just get started. Our main story today is a run through of all of Coach Prime's off-season coaching changes and what those changes mean for the Colorado Buffaloes. Plus, we've got an epic Stephen A. Smith clip because we can't get enough of his beatdown of Jason Whitlock. So grab you a Philly cheesesteak, sit back, and get ready because this is the prime time for college football. So quickly, before we get to our main story, I want to just take a moment to say how much we appreciated and enjoyed Stephen A. Smith absolutely going ham, no pun intended, on Jason Whitlock. For those who haven't seen it in all of its gloriousness, we will put the link in the description, but this particular clip really stuck with us.
Alone. And one of the other things that I never do, I never attack my colleagues. I might disagree with something somebody says or does, and I might have an obligation to speak on it because it's in the news or whatever, but I don't speak against my colleagues. Once humanity comes into play, that's a given. Here's the other. That's not real work. Think about this for a second. I'm supposed to be covering sports, but I make a career out of talking about my colleagues. That ain't work. That's you finding some slick way to get a check because you can't get a job. That's Jason Whitlock. That's who that.
Stephen A. Smith is really spot on, and he's absolutely right in this clip. No one who covers sports spends their time and energy attacking people. That's not sports. At the end of the day, that's politics. That's really what we want a break from. I know it's an election year, and I know that people are going to get super riled up about that, but a lot of times we want sports so that we don't have to listen to that crap all the time, the constant negativity, the constant drama. That's why Whitlock is constantly hanging out with politicians and people in that sphere of influence. And you never see him with any sports folks or any athletes or any former athletes. You never have him around any kind of celebrities, anyone who means anything, doesn't want anything to do with him. And that's really just a cheap way that he can earn a paycheck. It's certainly not something that we would ever endorse, we would ever advocate for, and it's certainly not Christian, which he does claim to be. But Stephen A. Smith absolutely dropped the hammer. We talked about it a little bit last week. We showed you a clip, and we thought you would enjoy the laugh again this morning. So what do you guys think about it? We talked about it a little bit in the comments, but what do you think about him dropping the absolute battle axe on Whitlock? Again, we stay pretty positive, but I cannot help but laugh at this, and sometimes you just need a good laugh. So thank you, Stephen A., for providing us one. Now, our next story and main story for today, thanks for indulging us, we're going to talk about all of the new faces on this Colorado coaching staff. Now, recently, Pat Shurmur was confirmed and introduced as Colorado's permanent offensive coordinator. Now, prior to joining the staff at Colorado, he recently served as the offensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos of the NFL. That was from 2020 to 2021, a short little trip over to Boulder from Denver. Shurmur is a 32-year coaching veteran. He has 21 seasons of NFL experience, including the last 11 years as a head coach or offensive coordinator. Shurmur has 4 years of experience as a head coach working in that role with the New York Giants from 2018 to 2019 and with the Cleveland Browns from 2011 to 2012. He has been an offensive coordinator for 7 seasons, previously coaching in that role with the Minnesota Vikings from 16 to 17, the Eagles from 13 to 15, and the Rams from 2009 to 2010. You've got to love the amount of experience that Shurmur brings and has coming into this role. Something that I think is so undervalued, so underappreciated is that NFL experience when you're coaching on a college staff. When you can train and talk and develop these guys for that next level, and you can coach them with an NFL mindset, to me, it is irreplaceable. It is so valuable. It's a huge recruiting tool to tell guys, look, I've been there for 20 years. I know what it takes to get guys there. Is every kid going to be an NFL player? No, absolutely not. That's just not how it works. Coach Prime is not the first to hire a guy with NFL experience on his staff. I'm not trying to make it into that, but I do believe that it is helpful. I do believe that it is something that Coach Prime and this staff will sell. And ultimately, I think it's something that will win and something that will be very, very beneficial to the folks in Boulder who like to cheer for Coach Prime. That'll include me. That'll include you guys. That'll include all those watching. It may not include all the haters, but I think Shermer is going to be really, really good as an offensive coordinator. Next, Jason Phillips takes over as Colorado's wide receiver coach. Now, Brett Bartolone moved over to coach the tight ends. He held the same position under Coach Prime at Jackson State. Phillips has over 20 years of coaching experience and went to Jackson State University after serving 2 seasons as the passing coordinator at Utah State. Phillips played professionally for 8 seasons, including 6 years in the NFL, and he's coached in 6 bowl games during his collegiate career. He's a winner. He knew how to win by making it to the NFL and having a long career there. The average NFL career is much shorter than 6 years. Played professionally for 8 years and has won at the college level too. Listen, bowl games may not mean what they used to, but they used to mean a whole lot. And to have more than a handful of them, have 6 bowl victories, means that he certainly understands how to win. He certainly understands what it feels like and what it tastes like to win. And I'm excited to see him under Coach Prime. I'm excited to see them reunited like they were at Jackson State. Next, Devin Respress, who recently came over from FAMU, will take on duties as the Assistant Director of Player Personnel and High School Relations. He's from Tallahassee, Florida. You got to think there's some ties there. Coach Prime obviously spent some time in Tallahassee. He was the Director of Recruiting for the national champion HBCU FAMU Rattlers. He worked under Shotgun Willie Simmons, who was an amazing coach at FAMU over the last 2 seasons. Respress had been working around the clock to recruit for the Rattlers and landed multiple great players. I'm not sure if you watched the Celebration Bowl, which was a ton of fun this year. FAMU came in as a big favorite. They fell behind early and fought back for the win. Shout out the Rattlers. But if you notice the talent on that team and what that team had built into over the last couple of years, man, they struggled a few years ago. They were not a great team. And shout out Coach Simmons, who did a wonderful job now coaching with Duke. Shout out Coach Simmons, who absolutely turned that program around, but could not have done it without Coach Devin Respress. I'd like to get Coach on here to get him to talk a little bit about that journey, talk about some of that player development, talk about some of that recruiting. But man, he was good, man. He really brought a lot of talent. He really did a good job of helping coach and develop and bring guys in. And I'm excited for him to continue to work in that role under Coach Prime. I'm excited to see what he can do and how the talent in Boulder can continue to develop, progress, and we can continue to add to it. Hey, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hopefully your week is off to a good start here. On Tuesday, you've had a good weekend. Enjoyed some NFL playoffs, some time with your family. Enjoy the holiday yesterday. Hopefully Tuesday is going good for you. We appreciate you for being locked in and tuned in with the channel. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you for watching the Prime Time for College Football.